In late August 2019, Dave Chapelle released his Sticks and Stones special on Netflix, and while the majority of the country was enjoying their Labor Day weekend, Buzzfeed put out an article demonstrating exactly how to miss a point. The general point is, what is the purpose of comedy? But ultimately, the point is, what is Dave Chappelle's purpose with his comedy in this special? BuzzFeed is wrong about Dave Chappelle, and here's why. I could start this with the old tired shtick of dragging BuzzFeed for its fluff, but I won't, as I like its fluff. I routinely wake up and catch up on my Buzz fluff of the week every Saturday, so I won't. BuzzFeed knows what it is. Well, okay, just one. See this? This is stupid. Don't admit this. Not everything you learn is a PowerPoint presentation. Go somewhere with this grade school shit. But I digress. On August 27th, Tommy O'Barra wrote an article titled, Dave Chappelle Doesn't Need to Punch Down. Her sub-tagline included the phrase, occasionally funny, and asked the question, why can't he be more thoughtful? Oh boy. Dave opened Sticks and Stones singing Prince's 1999 as an amuse-bouche, the first taste with which to prepare your palate for what you're about to receive. This is meant to provide context, to set you up what you are about to experience. It is to set the tone, as deliberately emphasized, most obviously, by Dave pointing out the lyrics, trying to run from my destruction, you know I didn't even care. Dave messes up these lyrics. The actual lyric, it's much more general. It says trying to run from the destruction, but Dave takes it personal because what he is about to do is potentially going to wreak havoc. Tommy O'Barra starts off her article recounting the most embarrassing things she has done online. It was 2009, and Michael Jackson had died. She came to his defense when a classmate pointed out how he was an alleged child molester. She says this is the most embarrassing thing she has done online. For someone who was a former evangelical Christian and a Sagittarius, she even points out how this is probably tame, skimming over Dave's criticism of Michael Jackson's victims and R. Kelly to get to the meat of her point, and that is Dave Chappelle is attacking the LGBT community, the alphabet people. And I find that hilarious. Why? Because our acronym is ever evolving. I don't personally care if it stands for 45 different letters as long as we are a united community. But again, I digress. Miss O'Barra starts in on how Dave doesn't apologize for his anti-trans jokes of the past, forgetting to mention that he's not required to. She goes on to lambaste him for his jokes. She quotes Twitter opinions as references to support her sentiments. She hurls out the term anti-trans over and over again in this article, and furthermore wants to force him to watch Pose, as if forcing him to watch a TV show is going to make him want to change. This isn't the Clockwork Orange, Tommy. She finally gets to the point of her article. Dave says that he sees himself in everyone he makes fun of, and he uses the example of poor white people, because he was once poor. Tommy then asks unintelligent question, but what about trans or gay people? This is how she ends her article. First things first, Tommy, ending your article with the question doesn't make it any more poignant. It's, in my opinion, cheap. Secondly, the special is over. He told a joke imagining what it would be like to have body dysmorphia, asking the question, what if I felt I was Chinese in this big black body? Or did you forget that? After watching the special, I went on to YouTube and watched the live stream of Kim, who runs the channel for Harriet. Kim essentially shared Tommy's sentiments in her live stream. Both these beautiful, intelligent black women were listening, but they were not hearing. Not the meaning, not the intention, and especially without the proper equipment. It's like they almost just threw away their amuse-bouche, and they were left without headphones, and they were stuck listening to it on a shitty iPhone 3 speaker. They needed good equipment, and that equipment is the genius of good, insightful, profound comedy, which is why they missed the point. In this special, Dave went in lobbing softballs compared to his last two specials. His formula was to reference his past incendiary remarks and then tell a joke to deconstruct that perception of him. This special was a masterclass in how to take a joke. They did not pay attention. Dave states that he thinks the world is too sensitive, but not in the general sense, but in the comedic sense, which is the only thing he has any real power in assessing. He can assess adequately whether or not a society can still take a joke. I mean, are we all too riddled with anxiety for possibly being triggered, that it triggers anxiety at the mere mention of a marginalized community? I think so, and it's ridiculous. Hilarious, but ridiculous. And I think Mr. Chappelle feels the same way too. That's where we are at.
If you're not trans, you can't possibly know what it's like to be trans. And if you're not gay, you can't possibly know what it's like to be gay.
These sentiments are partly true. I could argue that the Black experience and history in the United States is a good starting off point to understanding the alphabet people. Double consciousness is basically marginalized group Bluetooth. It comes standard and can connect us together upon request. So Dave can empathize with communities he is a part of through the Black perspective. Tommy argues that he separates Black and trans people. He sure does. Why? Because, as he stated, in his opinion, white males rule the world. Black trans women are at the bottom of the totem pole, and this is very clear. He knows he has to appeal to white, Becky trans women before he can even begin to address Black trans women. He'll lose an audience. He'll lose his audience. His audience will stop listening, so he won't be able to do any good if no one's going to listen to him and hear what he has to say. He knows that's not going to fly in Atlanta. No Black trans joke in Atlanta. Keep it neutral. Dave also didn't make any directly Black jokes. By their logic, he must not be empathetic to the Black experience anymore. These women want it both ways. They want activism and comedy. They want celebrities to make a stand, to use their platform for whatever their agenda is. But Dave is a comedian, and one of the very few with a platform that is hard to commandeer for your movement. Dave's platform is to express his silly little thoughts, and hopefully you'll find it funny. You can watch him giggle and enjoy himself at the absurdity of it all. He's at home, and yeah, maybe his jabs are a little pointy, and maybe he's taking himself a little too seriously, but he's not going to go on an apology tour for making jokes that didn't land. That's the nature of his job. Jokes sometimes just don't land. If we were to judge people not by what they say, but what they do in the context of the character, Dave has shown his character through actions. For years, he is a charitable, down-to-earth, approachable, genuine human being who has not let fame get to him, for the most part. He is refreshingly self-aware. Yet the point is missed, because his craft is so honed, the nuances are so delicate, but no one is picking up on this if they're only taking things literally. He's not like Kevin Hart, who I personally don't find more than humorous, and also comes off like he's above prejudice. That like, if somehow he repeats that he's not homophobic, eventually it will turn out to be true. Dave doesn't act like that. Dave doesn't say that. Dave says he does not hate anyone, and even goes so far as to remark at the end of his set that he sees himself in the people he makes fun of. And if we look deep in ourselves, we can see how contradictory we are, and those contradictions are absurd. And that's the humor of it. That is hilarious. From my perspective as a gay man, we are a community umbrellaed under an acronym, but we are all separate, which Dave has pointed out. The unity of the gay community is full of tolerance. It is an intricate dance where balancing indifference and hypocrisy. Dave has picked up on that. Dave Chapelle doesn't hate trans people. He doesn't hate anyone. He just doesn't understand it. He finds the humor in it, and how dare a cis man have the wherewithal to see something as absurd? How dare he attempt to humble a community he's not a part of? I feel if the gay community could stop brown-nosing our factions and we were honest, we would benefit from humbling ourselves and realize that what we are experiencing is special. And special is always entertaining. Special is always fun. Special is always humorous. The absurdity of feeling left out of society for clothing and how you identify is a fucking joke. It's a bad joke, but nonetheless a joke. Dave doesn't have to be walking in trans marches around the world. He just has to afford everyone the same rights. He doesn't want to take anything away from the LGBT community. He just has to feel that we all deserve equality. And he has plainly said that. He isn't punching down. He can't be. At who? If we are all equal, then we can all be made fun of. No one, not you, not I, not black, nor white, not L, G, B, or T, and all the other letters, are above a joke. No one is above a joke. Dave Chapelle ultimately is a comedian, and is probably one of the greatest commentators on the absurdity of our society, and the duality of what it means to be human. He is at once an intellectual and a stupid kid telling crude, goofy stories to get attention. Even LGBT comedians believe Dave should be able to say what he wants. Good or bad is subjective, but what is not subjective is that they are jokes, and that's what Dave is going to do. He's going to tell jokes. From what I gather, Dave Chapelle believes in the motto, live and let live, and we should do that for him.